In many ways, the days we spent in Balochistan reminded me very much of the time I had spent covering Jammu and Kashmir in the 1990s, when the insurgency there was at a peak. My name is Razaul Hassan Laskar, and I work with the Hindustan Times. There was a time when I was posted in Pakistan as an Indian journalist, and I spent almost 6 years in Pakistan. In fact, I was one of the last 2 Indian journalists allowed into Balochistan. Quetta and the rest of Balochistan had been a no-go area for most foreign journalists for a very, very long time. And I in fact called the government officials back and said, "Did you send me this invite by mistake? Because you usually don't let Indians go into Balochistan." And they said, "No, well, we want to take you to Balochistan." Well, they did take us to Balochistan, but then it was a trip where we were guarded by our minders at almost every minute. Virtually as soon as we checked into the hotel, we got an SMS from one of our minders saying that we shouldn't even think of going out alone on our own. And everywhere we went, the minders were always with us. They were making sure that we didn't go away from the places they were taking us to. They were making sure that we didn't speak to ordinary people, and we spoke only to the people they had chosen. Just a few months before we went into Quetta, almost 100 people were killed by a suicide bomber who targeted a snooker hall. And we went to this area where the snooker hall was. And while we were there were people who were coming and telling us about how, after the suicide attack, several days later, they had found body parts on the roofs of buildings. When they couldn't find a particular person, and they kept looking for him, and they eventually found his body parts on the roof of a building. And as we were leaving, there was this man who came up to us, and he held up a poster of one of his relatives, and he said this relative had died in this suicide attack, and he wanted us to take a photo of this poster of his relative, and in a way document these attacks that have targeted the Shia Hazaras. I never even got the man's name, and I didn't even have the time to ask him his name. All I could do at that time was to click a photo of this poster. And but this is something that I will remember for a very long time, how this man came to the window of our car and just held up the poster and asked us to take a photo.